first time Dmanisi was very well known as a place of medieval period architecture and the settlement, which was very well known and very well described in different historical chronicles of 13th century, 14th century, to the 17th century. And this was the reason why archaeological excavations were carried out during almost 50 years before we discovered earliest remnants on the territory of Asia and Europe. And you know that of this 1,800,000 years old, you can see here remains of the medieval period, the church of beginning of 13th century, and behind of the church, in the forest, all those remnants were discovered. So this is one of the most important archaeological sites on the territory of Georgia, not only for Georgians, generally speaking, for understanding of the way of development of society in Europe and Asia. So the next stage, as I told, of development of society on the territory of Georgia, and let's say on the territory of central part of Caucasia, including western part of Azerbaijan and the northern part of Armenia also. So this is so-called early farming period, very well known after excavations of, for example, one of the archaeological sites, Arakhlo, which is in Dmanisi district, also not far from Tbilisi. And what is typical for this culture? Such type of dwellings, houses, buildings, only type of you can see here, and different kind of paleobotanical material, which includes also grave seats you can see here of 5th millennium BC. This is one of the earliest remains of seats, generally speaking. So this is domesticated grave. Vitis vinifera, and this is important because those sites, including not only territory of southeast of Georgia, but absolutely same type of archaeological sites you can see on the territory of Western Azerbaijan. So this was one area having the same culture and same way of development during 2 millenniums, 5th millennium BC and the 4th millennium BC. Next stage is, as I told, Bronze Age. This is just a short description of periodization, and then I will give some more detailed interpretation of archaeological sites. So you can see here the map showing this one, archaeological sites of Bronze Age from the 4th millennium BC, from the end of the 4th millennium BC till to the end of 2nd millennium BC. So what is interesting here, production of bronze, earliest dates of production of bronze is end of second half of 4th millennium BC. And we have not only archaeological material, not only artifacts discovered on the territory of settlements or in the graves. We have also excellent mines on the territory of Western Georgia, especially Western Georgia because of earliest mines discovered there. This is the Raja region and Soneti region. So we call it Kuro-Arax culture. This is one of the most interesting culture because the territory covered by this culture was absolutely unusual for this time, because including territory of Central Caucasia. I will show the map just a moment, then it will be more clear for you. First of all, about the mines again. You can see how it looks like inside those mines, and the very, very primitive tools, striking tools, for example, which was used to work inside of the mines. And the dwellings, typical for this time, discovered on the territory of central part of Georgia. This is not far also from Tbilisi, between Tbilisi and Gori. This area, Kvazkhela, modern territory of village Dmanisi, probably you know about this. And this is the area of Kuro-Arax culture. This is the green one, including territory of central part of Transcaucasia, territory of Western Azerbaijan, Armenia, territory of Anatolia, modern territory of Eastern Turkey, including territory of Levant corridor. So this was one unique culture. And the name of this culture on the territory of Transcaucasia is Kuro-Arax culture. We used to call Kuro-Arax culture in Azerbaijan, Armenia, in Georgia. In Turkey, they use for the same culture, the term Karas culture, because this was first site where they discovered Kuro-Arax culture remains, and Tibet-Gerak, which is south part of Galilean lake. So this is absolutely same type of culture. This most widespread culture existing on the territory of Transcaucasia, generally speaking on the territory of Caucasia and Near Eastern countries. What is typical for this culture? Such type of weapons, bronze weapons, and different kinds of vessels. For example, for example, this one. This is small oven. Absolutely same type of oven you can see on the Tibet Gerak culture, especially like this upper parts of the ovens. This is from Tibet Gerak. You can see absolutely the same type of material on the territory of South Georgia, for example, in Akhaltsikhe district. And the pottery is absolutely the same with a black surface and reddish inside. So this is most typical feature of this culture. And what is typical? What kind of graves we have? This is one of the graves of Kuro-Arax culture, date of which is in the 4th millennium BC. This is so-called collective grave because there are several individuals buried here. You can see this is a special small chamber we discovered here 2 years ago on the territory of Kareli, exactly near the road. So there we have several deceased here. This is one here, another 3 deceased here, and the last one is here, because they used to move to the corner previous deceased remains the skeletons of previous deceased when they used the same chamber to bury another person, the new deceased, let's say. Okay, so this is one of the type of the graves typical for this culture. Another type of graves, almost the same period, is so-called genotaph. This is a special type of the grave without the bones, without the skeletons. But this is a grave also. It means that the person to whom was dedicated this grave was died somewhere out of this motherland, out of this country. And this grave was dedicated to him because this is always without skeletons inside, but as you can see, there's a big number of different kind of jars inside, okay? And another type of individual graves, also typical for this period, 4th millennium BC and very beginning of 3rd millennium BC, with different kind of skeletons, okay? And what is not very typical for the territory of old Georgia, but we have such type of burials also, so-called dolmens. This is on the territory of Abkhazia. And such type of dolmens are typical, especially for mountainous area, and because we have northern part of Abkhazia, only the Eshera, if you know, probably this is north from Sukhumi, just 8 kilometers from Sukhumi north. So in Eshera, we discovered last year, for example, was discovered such type of megalithical construction, which we call the dolmens. Okay, so another type of archaeological sites. Now I'm talking about the 3rd millennium BC, mid of 3rd millennium BC, and second half of 3rd millennium BC. This is a period which we call the Middle Bronze Age, beginning of Middle Bronze Age. And what is also interesting here, we have a lot of sites, especially graves of this period. We have not so much settlements of Middle Bronze Age on the territory of Eastern Georgia, but we have big number of graves. And what is very interesting, and I decided to show it to you, this is some kind of megalithical constructions located on the top of this mountain. This is territory of South Georgia, if you know Lake Paravani, south from the lake, north from Lake Paravani, there are two big mountains, and on the top of these mountains, this is Shaori. This is almost 3,000 meters above sea level. On the top, you can find such type of construction. This is not excavated archaeological site, but we have a plan of this, as you can see, with fortification wall and some different kind of construction inside, and entrance here, which is open to the east, to the sun. And another one, Abuli, and you can see the excellent structure here. You can see the plan, 3 different fortification walls. This is also not excavated here yet. This is what we have without any excavation now. And why? So this wall is 5 meters, so you can imagine the size of and importance of such archaeological site. So function of such type of construction also is not very clear, but I suppose myself that this is some kind of cult function because of location on the top. In this area, we have another kind of archaeological sites also, which we call kurgan, burial mounds. And you can see here, this is aerial photo. This is aerial photo, and the 3 photos are aerial photos. And you can see the kurgans here. 1, 2, 3, etc. Here, the big one, with a very interesting ceremonial road here. And you can see this is ceremonial road on the drawing. It's easy to recognize this one. This is approximately 600 meters. Sorry.
Where is this territory?
This is Zalga region, also territory of South Georgia. So 600 meters is length of this ceremonial road and 6 meters of wide. Okay, so this was used for special burial mounds like this. This is reconstruction of typical burial mounds for all territory of South Georgia and Eastern Georgia. On the territory of Western Georgia, we have not such type of construction. This is a little bit different kind of culture, and I will speak a little bit later about Western Georgian culture. But this is typical for Eastern Georgia, for the northern part of Armenia, and for Azerbaijan. Almost all the territory, including all the territory of Azerbaijan also. Inside, we have different kind of construction is inside the burial mounds, with different kind of chariots time to time. And this is how it looks like. This period of excavation, you can imagine, you can understand how much work was done for construction of such type of burial mound, because diameter of this burial mound is 100 meters and 20 meters high. So how many stones were used and how many times they used to work there, we calculated, and they used to work there approximately 3 years to make such construction.
It's like a small pyramid.
Yeah, yes. So this, we have the date for this according to this vessels, black polished vessels, okay, in the corner. This one, we call it Bedeni type of pottery, which is popular exactly in this time. This is end of second part of 3rd millennium BC. And what was discovered inside of such type of burial mounds, I suppose you know very well this archaeological material, especially this lion, which is very popular, and you can see the coin, the Georgian coin. The age of this is 21st century BC. This is 19th century BC. This is 17th century, 18th, 17th century BC. Those are golden things, and this is silver crown discovered from the territory of Trialeti. This is South Georgia, and this is period of existence of so-called Trialeti brilliant culture. And this is right because almost in all cases we have rich archaeological material in the burial mounds of this period. Let's say beginning of 2nd millennium BC. This is one of the burial mounds, and I would like to show now what was discovered 2 years ago on the territory of Eastern Georgia, Kakheti, Lagodechi area. So this is what was discovered. This was, let's say, mound, as you can see, artificial mound. And when we discovered, this was discovered by National Museum of Georgia. You can see the remains of wooden construction, like this one. As you can see, even the roof was very well preserved in this situation. 2 wheels of cart, bottle of basket edges here. Everything was preserved, and almost everything was preserved. And I will show some of those interesting things. For example, the fruits, nothing chestnut, almost in the same condition you can see today, so fresh, and it smells absolutely absolutely the same smell now that you can test today. And not only nothing chestnut, but blackberry also. Several kilos of chestnut and blackberry were collected just only in this grain. Okay, of course, with different kind of golden things, but these golden things are not so important as the food and the remains of the wattles and etc. Yes, please.
Does the ground have special properties so that these things are preserved so well? Or why were they preserved so well in such a good shape?
Because it was covered of clay, all this mound.
So air was not able to get in, yeah?
Yeah, it was closed, and despite of this period, 5,000 years, so everything was preserved inside. This was reason.
Was it like in a swamp?
No, this was not a swamp, but this was a clay, pool clay.
Okay.
They used to cover all this area, all this territory, not only the small part, but all this territory. Now, a few words about the Western Georgia. What was happening in Kolchis? Because Kolchis was the most famous, let's say, part of Georgia in literary sources, Greek literary sources, and Latin and Byzantine period literary sources. So, because of, very well, the reason was that Argonauts' voyage, this very well known event of late Bronze Age, 14th date of Argonauts' voyage is 14th century BC. And you know how it was realized. So, from the central part of Greece, from Iolkos to Ea or Aia, or this different modification of the capital of Kolchis for this time. But the problem is that we don't know location of Ea, where it was located. So we have two big problems in the archaeology of Kolchis, because we don't know the capital of Kolchis, in Bronze Age and Iron Age capital, and we don't know location of the most famous colony, Greek colony on the territory of Kolchis, Phasis. So I will show additional material showing this problem. Okay. So what was the territory of Kolchian culture? Why Argonauts decided to come exactly in Kolchis? What was the reason? This was a question not only for scientists of modern time scientists, but this was a very important question also for Greek philosophers from the 4th century BCE. They were trying to find some answer why they decided exactly to go and to make such a long trip voyage to Kolchis. What was the reason? And Strabo, Greek geographer of 1st century, found the correct answer for this. He wrote one sentence: the riches of country of metal, of gold, silver, and copper was the reason of Argonauts' voyage here, not golden fleece and etc. like this. But there is another suggestion, because, for example, 2nd century historian Kuro-Arax from Pergamon, he wrote that the main idea of Argonauts' voyage was to discover a way of production of alluvial gold, which was described 100 times in Greco-literary sources, because alluvial gold is gold from river, so which was typical and traditional technology making on golden items on the territory of Kolchis till the 20th century. So this was reality, but reality, the real reason of Argonauts' voyage, I think, was explained by Strabo, the richness of country, of metal, of gold, iron, silver. So this is the area of Kolchian culture of 2nd millennium BC. Now, territory of modern Kolchis is this one, like this one. And this is territory of North Caucasia. This is territory of South Georgia and parts of Turkey, and including territory of central part of Turkey till to Ordu, where Kolchian bronze artifacts were discovered. Big number of Kolchian artifacts. So this is the area of diffusion of Kolchian culture, as you can see, exactly of time of Argonauts' voyage. This is just only part of bronze items, which is typical for Kolchian culture, discovered in different areas of Kolchi. This is from Raja, for example. This is 2nd millennium BC. This is from Achara. This is on the central part of Kolchis. But as you can see, we have the big number, a real big number of bronze items of second half of 2nd millennium BC, and very often they are decorated with different kind of representations, engraved representation, animals, and etc., etc. So, what was unique and what is unique for Kolchian culture? This is so-called collective grave. Area of such grave approximately is 50 or 60 square meters, but inside of these pits we have 1,000 individuals buried together. This is last one which was discovered in Zugdidi area, but this is the maximum number which was identified in the graves, but traditionally we have 300, 500 or 600 deceased in one pit, in one grave. So this is typical culture only for Kolchis, only for central part of Kolchis, modern territory of Megrelia, and some part of Pulia, the Lanchkuti. In the Lanchkuti district we have, in Ureki, for example, we have such type of grave, and north from Ureki, on the territory of Megrelia, we have a lot of such type of Kolchian collective graves. And inside what we have, what is very interesting, all those green things are the bronze items. So there are thousands and thousands different kind of items, including not only weapons, but different kind of sculptures also, like this one. The period of existence of such type of grave is end of 9th century BC till to the beginning of 6th century BC. So why those artifacts are interesting? Especially those women riders. Here you can see the sculptures of women riders. Because this is typical only for Kolchis and only for continental Greece. In Peloponnese, for example, big number of such type of women riders were discovered and on the territory of Kolchis. But first time they were discovered on the island Samos, when German expedition was digging territory of sanctuary, so-called Heraion. And the first time such type of sculptures were discovered by this expedition on the island Samos. And those items were immediately identified as a production of somewhere from the western part of Caucasia, so it means from Kolchis. So this is one of the first indication of interrelation between Aegean world and Caucasia, western part of Caucasia, because those such sculptures are very interesting, as well as such type of representation of bulls having absolutely the same analogies on the territory of Eastern, in Boeotia, for example. This is one of the provinces of Greece, as you know. And of course, we have big number of gold in such type of graves. And what is interesting, When we made analysis of such type of gold chemical analysis, it was done in a laboratory of Louvre. We discovered that all of them were made of alluvial gold, which is very good explanation of the tradition which was preserved in Greco-Latin sources about the typical Colchian way of production of gold. So this is archaeological proof of this Greek tradition about gold-rich Kolchis. Kolchis was always mentioned in Greek literary sources as a gold-rich country. And so after archaeological discoveries, we have excellent proof of this idea. But at the same time, we have this interrelation with Aegean world, but at the same time, we have several daggers here like this one, as you can see here, several daggers having analogies on the territory of Western Iran, so-called Luristan area, where we have absolutely the same type of daggers. So it means that they were produced on the territory of Western Iran, but they were used on the territory of Kolchis also. Okay. Now another stage of development of society. We are talking about the Middle Bronze Age, about the second millennium BC to the mid of second millennium BC. This is one of the medieval period castle on the territory of South Georgia, Khaltsikhe district, village Atskuri. This one, you can see here, this castle. And why this is important and why archaeological expedition decided to go and to work a long time there, because in Georgian historical chronics, I mean Life of Georgia, Kartis Khoriba in Georgia, Life of Georgia, we have narration about Apostle Andrews being on the territory of Georgia, what he was doing on the territory of Georgia, and we have rather good description of his activity on the territory of South Georgia, especially in this village, where he discovered sanctuary of Apollo and Artemis. This is very unusual because on the territory of South Georgia, we have not Greek archaeological material indicating some kind of interrelation with Aegean world. We have different kind of archaeological material showing with very near interrelation with Hittite Empire, for example, Hittite culture. But this was some kind of indication about the existence of Greek culture, ancient Greek culture on the territory of South Georgia, because we decided to check the information, what was happening there in this village. And we discovered this is territory of this village. This is the aerial photo. We very often use the aerial photos for for our work, for survey works and etc. So this is another story how we are trying to discover archaeological sites. Okay, this is location of ancient archaeological site of first millennium BC. This is the area of existence of mid of second millennium burial mounds here, and it's the area of existence of medieval period archaeological sites. So what it means in reality now, I'd like to show it. This is one of the grave, small burial mound containing 72 deceased inside. This was also not a big, 4 to 5 meters, but with 72 deceased inside, with big number of items, including daggers, including such type of gold piece, and including also golden beads. And this is also what is interesting. This is the date of this grave is end of 17th century and beginning of 16th century BC. And this gold is also alluvial gold. It means that it was made on the territory of Kolchis, because on the territory of South Georgia we have not rivers containing the golden alluvial gold. Okay. And different kind of items, the vessels, pottery, let's say. There's pottery typical for this period, for all Georgia, and some bronze pins. And but the most interesting the graves which we discovered there. This was grave of in the 4th century BC, and you can see here deceased, which was buried with a skeleton of bull. It means that bull was dedicated to this person, and with different kind of items, including this representation of Ahura Mazda on chest, and different kind of Achaemenid type of representation, including double figurines and so Persian cups and etc. But let's say east from the Kolchis, we have not such type of collection of Greek pottery of archaic period, from archaic period. Kag, for example, which was made in somewhere in Miletus area, end of 6th century BC, till to the so-called Pergamon Via red glazed pottery of 1st century BC. And now I'm showing the Greek pottery. This is middle of 5th century, so-called glazed pottery made in Athens. This is a Colchian jar, also 5th century, made in somewhere Kolchis. And this is Persian type, Achaemenid type vessel. And this is local production. So it's very easy to recognize the type of interrelation between two worlds. This is eastern part and the western part of world. Okay. And typical for this area graves and archaeological finds bronze items of 14th century, 15th, 14th century BC. Those bronze, excellent bronze discs. Those excellent bronze discs, typical only for this area. This is Borjomi Gorge, you know, this place. Only there we have such type of this, typical for this period, 15th, 14th century. And what is the big surprise, let's say, they were discovered only in women graves. Only there. They are rather heavy, as you can see. This is, all those things belongs to one woman in the grave. And this is the same period archaeological material discovered in male's grave here, and you can see the difference. And this is how it looks like when we are digging archaeological sites.
What is the size of this disc?
This is approximately like this.
Wow.
Yeah, they are rather big. And always having different kind, different decoration, always different decoration. It seems that those these are ceremonial things because every day to use it is impossible. Absolutely. Now I was talking about South Georgia, so I will continue and I will show just what was discovered by our university expedition not far from Vardia. Vardia, you know very well, of course. So this is the area of village Mogri. There is an indication of some places we were there. And this is morning time, period when we used to start our work in the field. So under those clouds is Vardia, so this is rather high. So what was discovered there? Such type of burials. So we have only problem there, which one is better to dig, to discover, because everything is clear. There are thousands and thousands such type of graves. All those stone collection of graves, and only few of them we discovered and excavated. So if you will go there, you can see this picture, like you are in the 3rd millennium BC, you know.
And every grave contains a lot of gold.
Not really, not really, but pottery and bronze always. Pottery and bronze. So, but this is really unique area. Approximately, that this let's say valley of burial mound continues approximately 5 kilometers from Tmogvi to Tsunda. So if you will be there, if you are going to go somewhere near Vardia, so you have to go to see this place. And this is type of the burial mound there with the dromos. This is Dromos, entrance to the graves, and this is what we have inside. So, unfortunately, very often they are robbed because everybody can discover the grave and dig there, unfortunately. And this is one of the graves. We have found that type of dagger of 17th century BC, and we are happy because this was only partly robbed, so we discovered some pieces of golden beads also inside. But this is typical for this area. Now, again, a few words about what was happening on the territory of Western Georgia in Kolchis. I already mentioned city phases, location of which is not clear. We have excellent description of river phases from the 7th century BC. Greek writer Hesiodas mentioned first time Phasis as one of the biggest rivers of the world in this time. And we have description, you can see, it was described by Pseudoscylla, Eratosthenes, etc., etc. By Strabo, especially, the location of city phases was described very well. He wrote, just a moment, I think I have somewhere here what he wrote. Okay. He wrote that city phases is located among the sea, river, and the lake. So we have these 3 points. Now, okay. His indication, Strabo's indication is city phases is located somewhere here because we have the sea, we have river phases, we have Paliastomi Lake. The same was described that Arianos gave absolutely the same information because he visited phases. He was rather long time there. He lived there. He made some reconstruction of fortification walls and etc. So he gave very good description of location of city of 2nd century AD because he visited phases in 131. So, but he gave the same type of description. Somewhere the river, lake, and the sea, but there is nothing here. So suggestion was that Poti is ancient phases, but on the territory of Poti there is nothing in archaeology, absolutely. But some remains are in this area and in Paliastomi Lake. We decided to go back in this area, but you can see this is swamp east from the Paliastomi Lake, which is most interesting part of this problem. And we decided to go and to work in the lake, in Paliastomi Lake. And it was very good surprise. It's very easy to work. You can see this is not deep lake. So it's easy to work. But during our work, 2 weeks we worked there and we discovered 4,000 amphoras there. 4,000 amphora. This is a special container jar for wine and oil and etc. So 4,000. Then we decided it's enough because another 2 weeks, another 4,000, and there's no reason to work there. So we decided to continue such type of different period amphoras, remains of amphoras from the 1st century AD to the 8th century AD. Including imported beer, by the way, from the different centers of Mediterranean Sea. This is one of the problems we used to work on this now. This is our joint project with our German colleagues. So we decided to try to use all the possibilities to discover some kind of archaeological material, including sometimes, time to time, to go with the fishermen, because several times they found excellent archaeological material in the sea, like this amphoras. This is amphora of 6th century BC, this one, made on the island Chios, which was one of the main trade center in ancient time. This is the Heraklian amphora, also one of the main city in the mouth of the, let's say, between Bosphorus and the Black Sea. Is at the meeting point area. So and finally they discovered shipwreck in front of Kobuleti, or you know Kobuleti, of course. And but this is very deep, unfortunately, we can't work there. This is 120 meters, but ship is very well preserved, of 3rd century AD. So we made some archaeological survey works in the Paravani Lake also. Yes, please.
So, but you found in this lake, you found these 1,000 amphoras, you said, or 4,000.
4,000. Yeah.
And does it mean that Phasis was there? Is this evidence that Phasis has been found?
No, I don't think, because first of all, date of those collection, those amphoras, is from the 1st century AD till the 8th century BC. So, and there are only amphoras, no remains of Benedict, nothing. So this is under question mark. What is there? So probably in the summertime we have to go back again there just to discover, to try to discover what is there. Why we have so big collection of amphoras, just amphoras there. So I don't see. Probably somewhere near Phasis, somewhere near Phasis, because during the construction of airport in 40, in Soviet time, in 50s, they destroyed it, 4 castles, exactly in this area. And probably this was Byzantine period Phasis, not classical period, the Hellenistic, but Byzantine period, because this was described by Agathias in the 6th century. And so it totally corresponds to this description, what they destroyed it, unfortunately.
One more question. When
Yes,
you were like excavating in this lake, how did you decide where to dig? I mean, you just went to the lake and started digging somewhere, or you?
No, in 70s, the several pieces of pottery were discovered there.
Ah, okay.
So we decided to go there, and now you can walk inside because there are only amphoras inside of the lake. So you need nothing, just to take, and that's all, nothing more. So this is full of such type of pieces. Yeah, but situation in Paravani Lake was a little bit different, because when we started to work there, we got information again from fishermen here that they have some problems almost in the middle part of the lake, and they are talking about some kind of stone construction. We decided to go in to check what's happening there. And this is Paravani Lake. Now it's I suppose it's frozen now, because it's a little bit different area with different climate, as you know. And what we did, we made some kind of special construction to work in the middle part of the lake, and we discovered there some pottery, and we discovered there stone construction absolutely the same we have outside of lake, Uriel Mount, like this. This is what we have inside of the lake, but we excavated only the small part here, just this one. So this is not excavated burial mine also, but it is not easy to work inside of the lake because visibility is 0, absolutely. And temperature of water, the maximum is 13 degrees in summertime. So we decided to continue a little bit later this work, because we have to do a lot of different kind of discoveries. We are talking now with you. Now our archaeological expedition works in Tianeti region today also, so we have to finish after 1 week, because during the construction of road, graveyard of 5th century BC was discovered and destroyed it partly. So now we have to work to finish excavations there. Okay. One of the most. Yes.
So does this mean that at that time when they built this grave, or what that is, there was no water? So,
yes, of course.
So the lake came afterwards. It's a new, I see.
Lake wasn't new, but area which was covered by lake was changed. because of, I suppose, because of earthquake of 1285, when everything was destroyed on the territory of all Georgia. And this is very well described in historical chronics. I think in this time, some kind of changes of landscape. We have to follow this situation. And I think this was a reason why this area was covered by the water was changing this time. Because the age of this lake is approximately 300,000 years of lake. This is one of the very well-known archaeological sites for all Georgians outside of Georgia, Vani, which was famous of gold always, and with very excellent architectural remains. This is a very small archaeological site, just a small hill, 3 hectares only, inside of the walls. And this is so famous archaeological site, location of Vani, you know, this is located here, in the middle of Kolchis, with such type of the gates, which was discovered in 1966 with the street, which was preserved, as you can see, of 2nd century BC, and different kind of statues, representation of Arakhlo, for example, typical so-called late classical Greek work. And
Silver?
sorry, this is bronze. This is bronze. And a local imitation of gods, they were buried separately in the special graves of small sculptures, always with different kinds of golden items. And one of the graves, which was discovered 2 years ago on the territory of Vani again. So this is the area of grave, as you can see. This is very small area, as you can see, like this corner, and what was discovered here under the cobblestones, always, if you will see in Vani cobblestones, it means that under the cobblestones always are rich graves, always, 100%. So the same was situation in this case also, and you can see what was discovered here on the top here, such type of amphoras. This is Greek tradition. They found such type of material. What is yellow is gold. What is gray color, this is silver. And other is the glass. So what do you think? How many items we have there?
How many kilos?
No, just how many? Number. We are talking about the numbers. So.
3,000.
Sorry?
3,000.
3,000. Another number?
20,000.
Another? 27,000.
Oh.
in this very small area.
Is it protected now, this area?
No, this was excavated now. Everything is now in the museum, National Museum here. Some of gold is, you can see it go in the treasury, but all those other materials are in laboratories now to now. This was 10,000 silver beads, on the 10,000 silver beads, 15,000 glass beads, and other gold. So you can see the quality of gold production and the number of the gold. So really this was full of gold. Sorry. So this is absolutely, sorry?
I have a question. Is this one famous one discovery, and this was only one grave?
This is one grave.
Only one
No,
grave?
this is grave number 24. Out of 23 graves we excavated with almost the same number of gold. So this is always, Vani graves are always rich of gold. So.
They take all this gold in the museum? Or
Yes, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course.
So how do you explain that there's so much, so many items in these graves? What was so special?
This was a special center of Kokan kingdom. You know, two such type of centers. One was Vani, another is in Sachera district, Sayirche. There we have the same type of golden items. This was let's say, area of palaces, of residences, of rulers of different areas of Kolchian kingdom. So because we have such type of the place of aristocracy, of Kolchian aristocracy, like we have, for example, in Tscheta, for the Roman time, not as heavy.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
What stops people, especially locals, from going and finding gold and digging these graveyards?
Local people.
Yeah. What stops them?
Lack of knowledge?
First of all, this is prohibited to do. But you know, it's very difficult to make some control of this, because somebody can go and to take the golden item and how we can what we can do. Everybody knows that this is prohibited. They can't dig there on the territory of this small hill, but they have to do some agricultural work also. So
It's not
some
fenced,
possibilities.
right?
Maybe they already. It's fenced, but there's some population on the hill, so they have to live. They have to work. They have to do something in their gardens. So. But to make discoveries, archaeological digging, this is prohibited, as you know.
So the period is second.
This is 4th century BC.
BC.
It's the third quarter of 4th century BC.
So this is the Athenian period, roughly, when Athens was
A little bit late.
later.
Activity of Athens was
5th
80s
century.
of 5th century, Patroclus period activity in the area of the Black Sea, when they managed some additional colonies established on the territory of Kolchis. But this is next stage. Next stage. And you can see those are glass beads, also very nice. But those are Phoenician production. All those gold is produced on the territory of Kolchis. But glass beads, all those glass beads are Phoenician production. And you can see this is headdress with a representation of deers and the lions, and the bird sitting in the middle of between the lions. Those are applications, golden applications. Okay, now another area of our interest, we used to do now. This is central part of Transcaucasia, almost exactly in the middle part of the Caspian and the Black Sea. This is the area of village Igoeti, and you know, of course, everybody, because we are crossing all time this road. And here, on the hill, we discovered a settlement with a huge chronology. And now I will try to show it very shortly. We have Paleolithic age. We have the Dmanisi period items, tools. Then we have so-called Chalcolithic age, 7th, 5th millennium. Then early Iron Age, etc., so you can follow this. 11 different periods was discovered. We are also working there now, so we will finish it after 2 weeks. We are digging now the top of this settlement. But what is interesting here, Stone Age artifacts, especially those ones, the sickle blades. And this is spear belt, this is axe of 7th millennium BC. And the graves of different periods. We excavated 300 graves. My students made all this work. Generally speaking, all this area was excavated by students of our university. And the 4th millennium grave, and you can see the tradition, burial tradition is the same from the 4th millennium BC to the 4th century BC. There are of course thousands and thousands of artifacts there, but some of them are really very interesting. For example, this one, this is seal, which was made on the territory of South Mesopotamia in the 4th millennium BC. This is Uruk production. As you know, Uruk was one of the first urban centers of the world. And this was made here in Uruk, and we discovered here in the sanctuary of Grakliani Hill. This is some part of graveyard showing distribution of the graves in the central part of the graves, and different kind of weapons and bronze items discovered in different graves here, and also the small sanctuary of 5th century BC, which was discovered on the second terrace. And I am showing just only some material very quickly. I'm very sorry if it's too long, my speech today. So, what is also interesting here, this is grave of young lady of 21 years old, with rather interesting items in the graves. For example, this is a glass vessel, called tube, containing some material for decoration of eyes of mid-5th century BC. Those are golden beads, 70 golden beads. They were discovered here exactly their face. And this is golden disc, also of Persian production. This is, you can recognize very easily, Egyptian scarab, of course. This is representation of Pan playing a flute. So in this one grave, we had a lot of different kinds of cultures of mid-5th century BC. And what we are digging now, and we finished just digging of this year a month ago, and now we are digging on the top, as I mentioned already. This is a sanctuary of second half of 5th century BC, with very unique organization of interior. In the corner, you can see oven for making of bread.
Tone.
But decoration is very special here, having no analogies on the territory of Georgia and Caucasia, generally speaking. Those are really unique finds. We have here traditional sacrificial place, local traditional, which comes from the 2nd millennium BC. And at the same time, we have here a Achaemenid Zoroastrian altar, fire altar. So inside of this small room, we have two different cultures and religions, the Zoroastrian religion and the Christian religion. And why those ovens are so important? Because they are unique with their decoration, like this, and you can see the reconstruction of those ovens. So this is also unique, and I can repeat 100 times when I'm talking about this archaeological site, because what was discovered there, everything is unique, and everything was evidence on the territory of Georgia. Name of this archaeological site is Grakliani Hill, Grakliani Kuro, located, as you know, in Igoeti. Now we finished the digging of this area. This is 4th terrace. There are several terraces, approximately 12. So we excavated only part of this 4th terrace, and with several different kind of altars, fire altars, so-called open fire altars, which is typical for Persian culture of Achaemenid people. And we discovered there another building with collapsed roof here, with a broken vessel, so-called, in the corner, and another oven also. But what is interesting here, we found in situ location position all those jars. It means that they left this building when they were preparing some food. There are 6 different jars here, you can see. And so they used this oven not only for bread, to make the bread, but also for preparing the food, cooking. Okay, so we have not yet result of analysis, palynological analysis of those vessels, but in February we will get information what kind of food they used in this in this one building. And this is a reconstruction of this room inside, of what's happening inside. And the vessels, we have huge number of such type of vessels produced locally on the territory of settlement, because we excavated kiln there where they produce all those pottery. And we made a chemical analysis of different kinds of the vessels pieces, and those two vessels are imported from Western Iran, and others are made locally of 5th, 4th century. So for comparison, as you can see, on the territory of this small archaeological site, we have imported things from different areas, from Egypt, from Phoenicia, from Greek policies, from Persia, and from Mesopotamia. And a few words about what was discovered by our expedition in years ago, but we are limited, so limited in time that we excavated only a very small part of this interesting archaeological site. You can see this is base of column of Persian palace. So we discovered Persian palace of Achaemenid period, but we excavated only a very small part like this, and we left this situation. Only this small area was excavated. So we have very good data of this so-called post-Achaemenid period, final stage of existence of Achaemenid Empire. Let's say. So another stage of development of society on the territory of Eastern Georgia is, as I mentioned, post-Achaemenid period, 4th century BC, with different kinds of architectural remains. This is Caspian Agora with a sanctuary with representation of double protoma pool, typical for Achaemenid culture, as you can see, and the fire temple, also typical for Achaemenid culture. This is ancient Georgian writing of 4th century BC or 4th century AD, which was used before 15 period. And finally, I would like to show the Roman period archaeological excavation, Roman period site. This is, I suppose you know this area, Gonio, modern village Gonio, ancient name of which is Apsaros, mentioned many times in Roman literary sources, where interesting items were discovered. Probably you know this. Now this is in the Batumi Archaeological Museum. You can see all those 6 finds, date of which is 2nd, 3rd century AD. And finally, you know this place very well, Schete, where we have in this area, which is Acropolis of ancient Scheta, which was described many times in Greco-Roman literary sources. There's a Armaktika, Armozike. The Georgian name, as you know, is Armazike. So Armaktika is Latin version of Georgian name, and Armozike is Greek version of Georgian name. With excellent finds, so those are not recent discoveries. You know, this very well preserved chamber was a typical grave for this area of 2nd, 3rd century BC, with some golden items and representation of Dionysus Ariadna, which was discovered not far from Scheta, just 6 kilometers west along the river, river Kura, Kvari. This is a place, Sarkine, which was almost totally damaged in Soviet time, but some parts was excavated, and such type of representation of terracotta figurines were discovered there. And very nice representation of mosaic in a village Zalisa, which is not far from Tbilisi, as you know. Also, this is Roman Therma, typical for Roman period culture, and we have.
When you make discoveries, do you evaluate the worth of this discovery, and if so, what was the richest? discovery in Georgia made so far?
We have a scientific evaluation of this.
Only scientific.
But
Real world.
but what's the real price of, for example, this golden disc, what I was showing from the Grakliani Gora? It costs approximately 800,000 euros.
So only the material value, or including?
No,
the-
that's
what
only
I'm interested
including
in.
weight and everything, scientific meaning and etc.
If one would sell it at an auction, then it would bring that price approximately.
We're not selling all those things.
No, I'm not.
But it's always interesting also for us how much it costs.
I've been to the National Museum when they just opened the exhibition of the gold,
Yes.
which was just one hall. I mean, it was very well done, but just one room basically, very large room. So I can imagine that you have enough artifacts to exhibit
We
to
can put them in
fill
here.
the museum.
In all museums, in provincial museums in different areas of Georgia, we have almost everywhere we have museums, and in most cases with some kind of gold items also. And the main part, of course, is collected here in the National Museum. But in Zugdidi, for example, you mentioned, we have excellent golden finds from these collective graves. Also, in Poti, we have in Batumi, this excellent archaeological museum also. Treasuries. We have enough for our music.
I have a question. You mentioned some discovery in Abkhazia, nearby Eshera. Do you have contacts and do you communicate with your colleagues in Abkhazia?
Yes, we are trying to do it, but it's not easy, as you can understand. So I can write just email that what's happening to get some information about new discoveries, but that's all. We are sending our publications to Moscow, and this is some kind of, we are friends, so we have, of course, we have friends.
Is it possible to volunteer to participate in excavations?
Yes, of course, of course.
So if someone wants to join the expedition, should write to you?
Yes, of course. You have somewhere it was email letter, so also yes, of course. In this last excavations, we had some volunteers from Holland, from Leiden University, and we have a lot of volunteers from Germany, traditionally, from France, from United States, etc. So
From Georgian universities?
you are invited, of course, without any problem. If you like, you can come and work with us.
How long does it take on average to make those excavations? I mean, the minimum, maximum?
It depends of
On the land, okay, let's say on the land.
it depends of type and size of archaeological site. It's very difficult. Sometimes excavation of one grave needs 1 month. It depends of type of items, what is there, because we have to work with brushes only practically. And I was talking about my students. They were digging with shovels, and that's all this area, thousands of tons of soil we are moved by hands. So it needs a lot of time.